Oh, hello. Welcome into my workshop and welcome to the show Creations of Clay. My name is Louis Palladini, and today I like to do an animal that everyone is probably very familiar with. It's called a hammerhead shark, and I'm going to show you how to sculpt that from start to finish. And what I find it very unique, this shark is really interesting because it has what almost looks like a hammer for a head, and it's a very interesting and unique shark. I'll flip that around so you can see it. And I'll show you the size balls of clay that we're going to use today. They are, I have them right in front here. This is going to be used for the body. This here is going to be the tail. These, I have four small balls for the little fins in the back. And then these are going to be for the two fins on the side and the top. And this is going to be for the actual the head for the shark. So the first thing that I want to do is show you how we're going to make the body. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this ball of clay here, and I'm going to squeeze it like that. See how I'm doing that? I'm going to make this end a little narrower because this is where the actual tail is going to be. So we're just going to take, and I'm just going to lengthen it out like that. See that, how we're stretching it out? And see how we're doing that? It's coming along really nicely. Another thing that we're going to do is I do have a piece of wire here, and what I'm going to do is, because I want to make sure the tail is moved slightly upward, I'm going to take this piece of wire here, the armature wire, and I'm just going to place it in here. I want to put it right in the middle like that. Push it in, and then I'll push it right here with it onto the table. Now I noticed that when I pushed this through, it did come through a little bit, so I'm just going to push that with my finger in there. I want to make sure we cover it up. Okay. So I want to see if it's approximately the same size as this one. It's getting there. See that? I'm sculpting that. This is going to be the tail. See how just taking him, and I'm just molding it from all sides right now. And that's going to actually be the top. That'll be the side. That'll be the left side, and that'll be the bottom. So I'm just going to take and measure it against my model again, and we're almost there. So now the next thing that I want to do is I want to smooth this over with my fingers. See this? I'm taking my thumb, and I want to smooth over the clay to make it more smooth in appearance. See that? Just take your thumb and just go over it like that. Just like that. We'll smooth it out nicely. Just go all around the body of the shark. That makes it look really nice. See that? Now it's nice and smooth. So I do want to have it at an angle like that. And the reason why I put the wire in is I'm going to kind of push up the tail a little bit like that. So, and then what we're going to also do is we're going to take and tap it on the table to flatten it out a little bit. This way, it won't roll over when we're okay. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to work on the tail section. So what I'm going to do is, this is the tail section right here. See this tail here? We're going to make this part of the tail right here. We're going back and forth, and then we'll make the smaller piece here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to try to flatten it out like that between my two fingers. But what we're going to do is, as I'm flattening it, I want to make this shape right here. It's kind of triangular in shape. See that? Just like that. I just want to compare it to my model here. I need to stretch it out a little more. Let's see. That seems about right. So what I'm going to do is, see this, how we flatten it out nicely that way, but then that's the shape that we want right there. So what we want to do is, I want to take and I want to attach it right here, like that. So what I'm going to do is, I do have some of my sculpting tools here. I'm going to take, I'm actually going to use my finger for the first part. Just take and try to blend these together. I think I like this tool a little better. I want to take and make sure this is firmly attached right here. And then we're going to come over to the second side. See how that? I'm taking the clay and just making sure that it's firmly attached. Like that. See that? Just take and do that. So the next thing that I want to do is, I want to take this ball of clay here, and we're going to make the bottom part of the tail. So flatten out between your two fingers like that, and then what I want to do is, see, I'm make this shape here like this. See how I'm doing that? That shape there. I'll flatten that a little bit like that. And that's the shape we want right now. The next thing that I want to do is, I want to attach it to the bottom here, like that. So we'll attach that. I'll pull that clay down a little bit. We'll flip it over, do the same thing. See, I'm blending those together like that with my... I want to make sure that it's firmly attached. Now, okay, so now that we've done that, the next thing that I want to do is, we're going to work on making the fins here. This one, we're going to do the top one first, right here, and then we'll do the ones on the side. But what I'm going to do, I'll just put this here for a second. I want to take this, and we'll make the fin for the top. So you flatten it between your two fingers like this. And then we want to make that shape. You want to keep this a little rounded at the top right here. where my thumb and finger are right there. And just want to see if it's about the right size. Appears to be the right size, roughly. So I'm taking, see I'm making that flat that way. But then I want to put that in the top. But what I want to do is I want to figure out, I want to make sure I have the correct placement of it. And it looks like it's going to be approximately right here. See that? We put that on top. So I just want to work that in. And then from both sides, kind of pull that clay down a little bit. Work that in. We're going to take this right here. I want to take and kind of just make sure that's firmly attached. Push that in. See that? I'm taking that, my sculpting tool, making sure that that's firmly attached there like that. So now, what I do want to do is just take my fingers and just kind of smooth that out a little bit on both sides. See that? And then I'll just take and move this back and forth just to kind of get. And we'll take that. See how that, smooth that out nicely. Next thing I want to do is I want to put the fins on the side. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this right here, flatten this out here, like that. See, I'm flattening that, but I'm making this shape right here for the fins. See that? You want to make that shape right there. I just want to maybe flatten this a little bit in the bottom, like that. Just take my finger and go like that. So we have, okay. So now what I want to do is I want to take and attach that. It's going to be slightly forward of the fin on the top. So I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to push that into that like that. And then just take and work those two together. You want to go around it with your finger, make sure it's firmly attached. That way it doesn't break off. And just go like that. And then we'll take and do the other fin. Do the exact same thing. Flatten that out. That's the shape that we want to create right there. I just want to make sure it's approximately the same size as this one. Yep, they're almost there. So see that nice shape? I'm going to do that. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to attach it from the other side. right there. See that? And we'll take and we'll work that together like that. And then I will use the tool. I want to make sure I attach these because nice and firm. Make sure that I'll push that in towards the clay. And I'll just okay. See how nice that looks? And you want to make sure they're in approximately the same location. And then that's like the dorsal fin. The next thing that I want is I want to add, let's see, I want to add, there's a couple of little fins right here. So what I want to do is I want to look at my model here and figure out approximately where I want that. Okay, I know. I'm going to put that right about here. See that? So what I do is I'm going to make that triangular in shape, pinch the fingers, see the shape that I made that? It's similar to the dorsal fin. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'll take that, flip it over, and we'll attach that there. Take and flatten it like that. See that? That looks pretty good now. So then we're going to make the other two on the sides. So those there, we're going to approximately make, see this right here? We're going to place it approximately right there. So we take that, flatten it from both sides, and then work it from all sides. Make sure that's firmly attached. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. Take that. I want to make sure. I always like to look and make sure I'm placing on the exact opposite side. See how they did that? Place that there. It's coming along really nicely. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make the head. So what I want to do is take this, flatten this out like this. See how I'm making that flat? But we also want to make what almost looks like a hammer. So we want to make it roughly square in shape, just like that. You got that. What I want to do is compare it to my other model. Yep, that's approximately the right size. So I'll square that off nicely. And I'm going to put that down for a second. And we're going to do the other one also. And we'll square that off. want to make sure it's approximately the same size as this one. It's getting there. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is, just going to see which side I want to attach. We're going to take, we're going to put that right there. See that? So what I'm going to do is do that, but then kind of pull the clay down a little bit like that. We'll do that from both sides. You want to make sure that's firmly attached. See what I'm doing there? I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to take and place it on this side. And then go from all sides to see how that, make sure that that is firmly attached. And then I'm going to take this, I want to just rub this just a little bit on here. That makes sure that that's attached. Just trying to shape it a little bit more. See how we got that nice hammerhead? And then what we're also going to do, so I want to look at this here. I want to see where to make the mouth. You know, you can see the mouth right here. So what I'm going to do is take and just kind of start to make the mouth like that. See that, how we're doing that? See that? See how I made that mouth? Pretty cool, huh? The next thing that we want to do, now that we've got that done, is I want to make the eyes. So I did bring some extra clay with me today. What we want to do is take and I want to make roughly make a hole right here. See that? Then we'll do the same to the other side. See how I did that? And then what I want to do is get a very small piece of clay for each one, for the eye. I'm going to put it down here, that way you can get a better view of what Take this and roll it between your fingers and make a ball. See that? Kind of tiny, but now we've done that. I'm going to take and I'm going to put it in the, try to put it in that. Oh, I'm just trying to make it a little bigger. Because we're going to have to put those in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take and roll these. And then I'm going to take and put it inside there, like that. See how I just did that? And then I'll flip this over and do the same thing here. Where it's small, sometimes it's hard to work with and it will slip out of your fingers, but don't worry about that. You'll get it in there. Then I pushed it in the hole like that. You see that? How nice that looks? The next thing that we want to do is, I always put some holes in the bottom when it's the super sculpey. I want to take and put like 3 holes here. This is so when I fire it in the oven, the clay doesn't crack. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to make, let's see, I want to make it thin. We want to make the gills. So what I'm going to do is just take and go like that. I'm going to take the tool and make 4 little slits like that. See how I did that? And then we'll do the same on the other side. We'll do 4 little slits like that. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. See how we did that? So now, I'll just flip them around. It's amazing how we just started off with these clay balls, and now that we have this beautiful hammerhead shark now, just in a matter of minutes. And I'll show you what the final version will look like after it's been fired in the oven. Oh, there's one thing that I do want to add that I forgot to before we finish. I'm going to take another little piece of clay, and there's like a little notch on the tail. So what I'm going to do is take, I forgot to add this. Right here. Let me see. See that? We add that little notch. So what you want to do is have it protrude out a little bit, like that. See how we did that? I'll show you from both sides what it looks like. So now that we're done, I'll show you what the final version will look like after it's fired. This is the final version of the shark when it's been fired in the oven. See that? We have the little holes I made in the bottom. We have the 2 fins here. You have the 2 fins here. You've got the nice tail. You got that little notch in the back that I had shown you. And then you've got the dorsal fin up here. You got the 2 fins here. I did 4 gill slits on the side right there on each side. And then the nice hammerhead. You see how we did the eyes. You see how we did the mouth right there. I'll show you from the other side. That's what he looks like from the other side. And that's all for today. He's ready for painting now. But I do want to thank you for coming to the show Creations in Clay, and I do look forward to seeing you again next week. Goodbye for now.